Welcome to another story made by Oracle 1. In the heart of the ancient realm of Eldoria, where verdant forests whispered secrets to those willing to listen and mountains clawed at the horizon like sleeping giants, there lived a nobleman named Lord Alaric Thorn. He was born into an illustrious family known for their wealth, dignity, and the thorns of their coat of arms, symbols of resilience and protection. Yet, Alaric's life was far from the shining imagery his family portrayed, for he bore a curse both cruel and strange. Instead of hair, brambles and sharp, jagged thorns erupted from his scalp, twisting and growing each day. His story began shortly after his 21st birthday, when on a moonless night, a mysterious figure had appeared at the doorstep of Thorn Manor, a witch, cloaked in shadows with eyes like shimmering emerald flames. She spoke of a grievance, a debt unpaid by Alaric's ancestors who had once taken and destroyed her sacred grove to expand their lands. In her anger, she cursed young Alaric, proclaiming that unless he sought redemption and healed what had been broken, his hair would become a thorny crown of pain and isolation, marking him forever as the Bramble Prince. Within days, Alaric's once golden hair was replaced by a tangled mat of sharp, bleeding thorns. His family, terrified and ashamed, locked him away in the highest tower of their ancestral home, hoping to hide the disgrace from the gossiping tongues of the court and the suspicion of the common folk. Alaric's thorns twisted with each passing moon, and so did his loneliness. The pain of the curse was more than physical. It was a reminder of his family's cruelty and his own powerlessness. Yet the tale does not rest in the despair of a cursed nobleman. In the outskirts of Eldoria, past the bustling market towns and the thickly wooded hills, lived a young girl named Lyra. Unlike many of her social class, Lyra's life had been one not of comfort but of hardship and flight. She was a runaway, having fled an abusive home under the shroud of night. In her heart burned a fierce desire to carve a new life out of the wilderness, and the stories of the woodlands whispered to her in the rustling leaves and starry skies. One fateful evening, as the sun dipped low turning the sky to molten gold, Lyra was wandering through the forgotten paths of the Eldertangle forest. Her small hands brushed against the velvet moss, her feet alone in the soft earth, when she heard a low groan wrapped in pain. Curious and cautious, she pushed aside a curtain of brambles to discover a small tower, hidden and entwined with vines and thorns. At the foot of the tower, half hidden among thick bushes, was a wound deeper than it seemed. A man bound by his own curse, Lord Alaric. His thorns, gnarled and menacing, shimmered faintly in the fading light, but they could offer no shield from the loneliness in his brilliant green eyes. He was attempting to break free from the bramble that imprisoned his wrist, casting broken words into the twilight. "You there?" Alaric called softly, his voice desperate yet refined. "Please, can you help me?" Lyra, heart-pounding but emboldened by her own battles, took a cautious step forward. "Why should I help a lord who looks like he carries the whole forest on his head?" she teased, trying to mask her concern with jest. Alaric let out a bitter laugh. "Because I have no one else. Because I need to find the witch who cursed me, to undo the pain I have inherited and, if truth be told, to free not just myself but the lands that suffer for my family's sins." Lyra considered this strange nobleman with the crown of thorns. She saw beyond his formidable exterior, the sadness, the determination, the buried kindness. "Very well, Bramble Prince," she said at last. "I will help you, but we do this my way. No grand castles, no nobles' courts. Just the forest, its secrets, and whatever magic it hides." Thus began their wary alliance, a partnership forged in necessity and nourished by growing respect. From the cracked stone steps of the tower, where vines tangled like restraining chains, Alaric and Lyra ventured deeper into Eldertangle, past gnarled roots pulsating with magic, and into the heart of old mysteries. Their journey was perilous. The thorny crown on Alaric's head grew with every day they traveled, weaving itself through his tangled hairless scalp with painful intensity. More than once, he had to stop and pull loose needles embedded in his flesh, a reminder of the curse's unrelenting grip. But Lyra's presence lit a fire in his spirit, her quick wit and unyielding courage reminding him that even the darkest spells could unravel with the right touch. The first place they sought was the enchanted glade, a place whispered of in village lore where the veil between worlds thinned and the purest magic flowed. Legends claimed the glade was guarded by the sylphs, mysterious air spirits who could mingle with the winds or become invisible to the naked eye. To approach the glade was to confront not only the unseen guardians but the creatures of the mind and heart. On their way, they crossed paths with the Silver Wolf tribe, fierce hunters who roamed the shadows of the forest like ghosts. Suspicious of outsiders and especially disdainful towards nobility, the tribe initially blocked their passage, brandishing spears tipped with bone. But Lyra's story of the cursed nobleman, and his genuine repentance, touched their leader, a grizzled woman named Kara. She granted them safe passage but warned of the price of meddling with ancient magic. Many who seek to break curses get lost in their own regrets, Kara said, eyes narrowing like the crescent moon. Tread carefully, or the thorns will consume you both. Undeterred, Alaric and Lyra reached the enchanted glade as dawn cast shimmering light across dew-laced petals and the air filled with a song-like hum. Here, the sylphs appeared, ethereal beings dancing amidst floating motes of light, their laughter like chimes stirred by a gentle breeze. "Why do you come, Bramble Prince?" One sylph's voice tinkled like crystal drops, her form flickering between air and light. "What price will you pay to undo the spell that binds you?" Alaric knelt on the moss, thorns scraping against damp grass. "I seek forgiveness for my family's wrongs. I ask for a chance to heal the land torn by our greed. I offer my service to the woods and the creatures within, to guard and protect rather than conquer." The sylphs murmured among themselves, the very air shimmering in response to his words. "Words alone do not mend the past," the leader whispered. "To break your curse, you must venture into the hollowed roots, the heart of the forest, and retrieve the heartwood seed, an ancient relic buried beneath the oldest tree. There, you will bind the seed with your own blood and promise renewal." With this charge, heavier with hope than hardship, Alaric and Lyra set off toward the hollowed roots. Their path grew darker, the forest's thorny fingers curling closer as if testing their resolve. Alaric's thorns reflected the dim light like menacing armor, and Lyra's hands never strayed from her small dagger carved from a fallen star. Finally, in a clearing lit by the ghostly glow of bioluminescent moss, stood the ancient tree, gnarled with age and wisdom. Its roots plunged deep into the earth, twisting into a natural cathedral of wood and stone. Beneath its massive trunk, the heartwood seed restfully awaited the one who could claim it. As Alaric knelt beside the earth, he pierced his palm with one thorn, crimson drops pooling on the soft soil. Lyra watched with bated breath as the seed pulsed, awakened by the sacrifice and earnest vow. Suddenly the thorns on Alaric's scalp tensed and then began to recede, unraveling like shadows touched by dawn's first light. Vines unwound, brambles softened, and from every follicle sprouted rich, vibrant hair, golden as the sunlit meadows. Relief and joy washed over them, but the forest whispered caution. The curse was broken, but healing was a path, not a destination. Alaric vowed to never forget the lessons learned amid brambles, nor the courage of a runaway girl who showed him kindness when none would. Together, they returned to Thorn Manor, where Alaric was welcomed not as a shameful nobleman, but as a renewed guardian of both land and people. The House of Thorn, inspired by his transformation, began to protect the forest, ensuring that no dark shadows of greed or malice would taint their domain again. Lyra found a home there not as a servant or a stray, but as an honored ally, a reminder that from the wildest thorns could bloom the rarest of friendships. The story of the Bramble Prince lingers like the scent of pine after rain, a tale of curses and healing, thorns and soft petals, proving that even the darkest spells can be undone by courage, compassion, and the promise of new beginnings. For more stories, like and subscribe.